These pinto beans have been in my pantry for weeks and nobody wanted them. Some people say they taste a bit rougher, until I made them like this. If you have pinto beans at home and you don't know what to do with them, prepare them like this. They turn out delicious, and it's a creamy and super easy recipe. And stay until the end because I'll tell you the little trick to get a thick sauce without flour or any weird stuff. If you like traditional stews, subscribe. I'm going to use half a kilo of beans, 2 chorizos, 2 good pieces of pork shoulder, and an onion. In addition, we give it extra flavor with 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, paprika, and of course salt, which we should never be without. This type of beans, pinto beans, or whatever you want to call them, requires a lot of moisture, so you have to soak them for at least 8 to 12 hours. Not doing it this way and soaking them for fewer hours. That's the first classic mistake. They don't soak them enough, then complain they're hard. After that, you have to drain the water and wash them in cold water. And straight into a big enough pot, because everything has to fit inside. Once you have them, cover with water. But not just barely covering them, no. There should be at least an inch or 2 of water above the beans. We put it on medium heat and let it warm up until it comes to a boil. Medium heat until it comes to a boil. At your house, do you say fagas or beans? In my hometown, we've always called them fagas, but I understand that's probably not the most common term. We use the time to finely chop an onion. See? I slice it into strips and then with a knife I cut all the strips at once. I end up with really small little cubes. This trick is easy. Once we have the onion chopped, we do the same with several cloves of garlic. You can use 2, 3, 4, more or less depending on the size and how much you like it. We also do it the same way to get little cubes of garlic, very, very small. And here is the difference between regular beans or fagas and top quality ones. A generous drizzle of oil in a large pan. And here we're going to brown the garlic and onion in the oil all together. But the trick is to add the garlic first. And then the onion. We're going to cook it together. And we're going to cook it until it's translucent. Don't forget to stir from time to time. Enjoy your meal. And make the most of that time as well. How? For example, by preparing the sausages. As you can see, these are fresh meat sausages, not cured. And I cut them into thick slices so they release all their flavor inside. I also add the pork belly, which I have 2 pieces of here. And I don't desalt it because that way I can use the salt it has for the stew itself. Onions ready, so we add paprika. You know, sweet or spicy, whichever you prefer, or a mix. And be generous because it's delicious. What we do is stir it quickly. We don't want this to burn. You have to do it fast and without stopping. We stir it for a few seconds so it spreads out well and dissolves a bit more. But that's it. We take it off the heat, we go to the pot, which you can see has already started to get some magic, and we add all the sofrito in. Use a spatula if you have one. Why? Because you're going to get every last drop of flavor, and we want all the flavor for ourselves. In this, we are selfish. Now that we have the onion and garlic, all the sofrito, we also add the chorizo. This recipe really isn't complicated. the 2 pieces of lacan, and we stir gently, just pushing the chorizos and the lacan a little. Gently, and this will be the only time. From now on, we don't touch it anymore. Not with a spoon, not with a spatula, not with anything. We just put the lid on and wait. When it starts to boil and you want to shake it a little, like this, see how easy it is. It's important not to stir with a spoon. You know, just a little shake. Enjoy your meal. The total time for the stew to be just right starts at 1 hour and can easily be an hour and a half, even a little more. The thing is to check that they're tender. If after an hour or so they're already tender, hey, then you've got it. In this case, look, it's still a little hard, so I'm going to leave it a little longer. This is a matter of trying and doing this little motion from time to time. Good. When you try again, in my case, it's been 1 hour and 35 minutes, you'll know if it's the right time or not. So we take a few beans that I have here and do the fork test. Let's see if they mash well. And if that's the case, mash them really well. Like a puree, 2 or 3 tablespoons, and add it to the stew. You won't believe it, but a wonderful magic is going to happen. Stir it a little and let everything thicken. You'll see how delicious it is. Cut! The trick to making the sauce thicken and become creamy like butter is very simple. You take out 2, at most 3 spoonfuls of beans, mash them with a fork into a paste, and put them back in, stir for a minute, and it's a delicacy fit for the gods. Enjoy your meal. Now you taste them, adjust the salt as needed, right now only at the end. Let it rest for 10 minutes and enjoy. These aren't just beans, this is another level. You'll never wonder how to cook pinto beans again. Now, do you understand why they disappear so fast? Creamy, easy, delicious. Why? Because they have just the right touch of chorizo and ham. It never fails. If you have white beans or pinto beans stored, cook them this way. It always works. And save this recipe because you're going to make it again.